Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me on my first YouTube video ever. That's right, my first YouTube video ever. My name is Ken. I'm a retired law enforcement officer and a former United States Marine. I am going to try this YouTube thing out, give my opinions, give you what they say are the facts. If I find anything that's different, a little askew of the fact, I will be glad to tell you that. This is a no fluff, no buff channel. I hope I could build a brand being honest and not catering to the masses, not catering to anyone to get any type of promotional items, although it would be appreciated. Today I have something special. Now they've been on the tubes for a few months, but I finally was excited to get mine the other day, and that's this. And everybody knows the brand. Everybody knows firearms, knows what this is. That's right. It's a Shadow Systems. Now it's not just any Shadow Systems. I'm going to tell you which one it is in a minute. First, you get a safety manual. You get an operation manual. You get a sticker. And in Maryland, we're required to have an external firearm safety lock. So, we got one of these. I got 50 of these things laying around. Okay, but this one's special because they put their logo on it. So, I know which one they sent me. Now, also, they give you a nice padded gun case. Now, I own 4 Shadow Systems now, and I believe my one pistol that I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, because I might do a review on it, even though it's probably been beat to dog, you know what, on that pistol, but I might review it. That one came with a tan bag. I don't know if it was specific to that model or they just didn't have black ones in stock, but I'm glad to have it. That way I know which firearm, what pew pew to buy, to get when I'm reaching into my bag in my car when I'm out at the range. So, no further ado. Oh, one other thing you get in the box is this little armorer's punch. That's a great little thing to have. I'm glad they included that because I'm always needing this. You don't really need this to take down your gun unless you're getting into stuff you shouldn't be getting into. But this helps me with this pistol, and I'll tell you why. First of all, here it is. Now, I'm looking in there. It is empty. And I will tell you about this room here. I do not bring bullets in this room. I don't care if I'm carrying my concealed weapon on me or if I'm doing a review. I'll take my magazine out and eject the freedom seed out of the weapon. And I'll make it starve for a little bit. Just like a firearms training session, you do not have live rounds anywhere until it's time to have the firearm. So when you're in class, there's no bullets. There's no bullets anywhere around. They're not in your pocket. They're not in your jacket. They're not in your gun bag. If you do, you'll probably get thrown right out of that class. So here's the CR920XP. The P standing for compensated and the X standing for extra long or long pistol grip. That's a 15-in-1. That's right, it's a 15-in-1. Essentially, this is a beefed up Glock 19. We all like Glock 19s. It's that little middleman in between the full size and the little tiny thing. So, here is the magazines. Looks like stainless steel mag. They say it's got a beefed up spring in there, I guess to help push the rounds up. That might come into play in a little bit when I get to it. But these are made in-house from what I hear by Shadow Systems, and they're currently out of stock, but they said they suggested retail when it is in stock is going to be $30. So I'll end up buying me about 10 of these because you never know when you might need them. And I always carry one with me. I always carry one in my lockbox in my vehicle. Don't tell anybody because I don't want them breaking into my car to get my lockbox. You're not going to get my lockbox. It's locked in there. So I already cleared the weapon. You can see how the magazine fits in there. It's a positive lock. It's really good. It's like a Smith & Wesson meets Glock magazine kind of thing. So here it is in all its glory. I will tell you, The barrel length is 3 3/4 inch long. It weighs 21.02 ounces. The length is 7.18 inches. The width is 1.05. So just a tiny bit over 1 inch. It is so thin that even the smallest red dot that I know about, which is the EPS carry made by Holosun, it hangs over a little bit. Not much. Definitely go with the EPS carry though. If you want to put a red dot on there, the 507 is going to be too big. So getting back to the dimensions and everything, the height with magazine is 5.18 inches, and that is to the top of the rail. That's not to a sight. 15-in-1 magazine, and the length is 7.18 inches. Okay, getting that out of the way. All the goodies. This is basically a beefed up Glock. And it should be beefed up because it costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,000 MSRP, and you can probably get it in the low 900s. I got mine from an FFL dealer in Maryland, and I will share that information later on in a video. He is a great source. He has your weapon in time for you. It's an 8-day hold from the day you sign the paperwork to get a firearm, and he's always had it in 3 or 4 days, and made me drool and just wait and wait and wait for that paperwork to come back from the state police saying that I am not disapproved. That's right, not approved, not disapproved. That's saying, hey, we didn't find any reason why we couldn't stop him from having the gun. So, all right. Getting back to this, obviously the XP compensated, longer grip. Okay, this is in the elite class, by the way. It has very aggressive serrations on the top, doing those John Wick press checks. I don't do it. My hands are so badly beat up and injured so much. I just don't have that strength to do that anymore. It also has some side serrations, cocking serrations, I guess you could call it. It's got a match grade nitrite finished barrel that's fluted, spiraled. Very nice, very nice. Heavy duty recoil spring in there, and again, that might be another issue that I'll bring up later on. The slide does have some slide cuts. They say it's weight. It ain't dropping much, a couple grams maybe cutting them out. I will tell you, when I shot it, I did see a little bit of sparks shooting out the side. I don't know if that would be a factor at night, maybe harming your night vision, but you tend to blink when you fire anyway, so maybe that little blink comes out the same time the spark does, and that mitigates the issue. This does have the optics cut. You can just take the screws out, take the plate off, lose them like I did. I was looking for the plates on all my other firearms that came optics ready. I don't know what I did with them. They're like $50 a piece for a plate, and I don't know what happened to them. So one thing, when you go to mount one of these here, the Holosun comes with 3 different size screws. This model with its optics cut uses the thick screws, not the thin ones. The thin ones they'll screw in lightly, but you can basically just wiggle it and pull it back out. So these use the long ones, and I don't remember it was 12 millimeters, I think, is the screw for this, and that's from the bottom of the screw to the taper of the cone of the countersink, not all the way to the top. And that goes all the way in. You want it to completely engage in there. It has already has Loctite on there, temporary, non-permanent blue Loctite, and you don't want to go any deeper anyway, because you don't want it doing anything to the bottom here. So this fits perfect. This has combat basic sights. It's got the green tritium, and boy is that bright during nighttime, I will tell you that. It's got the blacked out combat sight in the rear, iron sights, and they're somewhat raised. They're not suppressor raised. If you put a suppressor on here, you would probably have to upgrade still a little higher if you go with a BP suppressor that's rated for 9mm and above. but they do allow you to co-witness to a red dot, such as the Holosun and the Trijicon RMR. Let's see, what else can we go with here? It's got some pretty aggressive stippling all the way around your back strap, front strap. It's in where your finger indexes. It's got a little thumb ledge here to put your thumb, and it's got a little ridge, so you can actually use that to press down a little bit for a little bit more recoil management. It's not so aggressive that it would rip your clothes or cause rashes or irritation to the skin, unless you use a crappy holster and it wiggles around in it, then maybe. But if you got a secured holster, you're good to go. I've been carrying another model of theirs for many months, probably close to a year now. I'll have to tell you a story about that coming up in a little bit. I don't want to make this too long. I'm going to try to keep it 15 minutes or less, but we're closing in on 11, a little over 11 minutes now. But anyway, it's got the double undercut here, allowing you to get a full purchase with your hand. I got a medium-sized hand. I can get my hands all the way around there, get my hand all the way up tight against the tang. The tang is not overly done, but it's enough to keep you from getting slide bite. And anybody ever got slide bite for accidentally, going to an offhanded and doing this with their hand like that? Bad. You want to keep your hand on thumbs on the same side. But anyone that gets slide bite, it's like self-correcting. You don't want to do it again. Let's see what else they got here going on. They got an ambidextrous safety right here. It's somewhat raised, helps you get that magazine in and out. And they got a magazine a little bit bigger, sticks out a little bit more than some magazine or a slide release here. It's a slide catch, not really a slide release. You shouldn't really. I'm going to do it here, but you shouldn't do it. They love to do that in the movies. That puts undue stress on this and the spring, and you shouldn't do that. The correct way to chamber something is to pull it back all the way and let it go. All right, that's the correct way to charge a pistol. The extra little inertia also helps for stubborn bullets, or if you have a full magazine that's really stacked in there. I've found some magazines where you're fighting like no one's business to get that last round in there, and everybody wants that last round in there. So in my department, they took one round away for every magazine that an officer had, because some people couldn't get the round in there. So they said, instead of some people keeping them home in a drawer, so we can account for every bullet in case of in the line of duty shooting, we're just going to take one bullet away. So we only had like 47 bullets, I think it was, 47 rounds. Some people say bullets, some people say rounds. Okay, so back to the gun. Off on a tangent here. This gun here for $900, I think should have a better trigger. It's okay. They say it's 4.5 to 5 pounds, and that's probably about right. I haven't tested it, but maybe later, maybe on a future video, I'll update you on that. It's got some creep. It's got a little mushy. You get to that wall, and that creep just goes and goes and goes and goes, and then pow, it goes off. It's got a pretty good reset. I will give them that, but for $900, you should a little bit better trigger. Maybe a polishing job on the trigger bar and whatnot might help. And maybe after a couple hundred rounds, maybe 1,000 rounds, maybe it'll settle in a little. But in my opinion, should have a better trigger. Okay, that's one of the only issues. I've been carrying a Glock for since 1998, and I can count on one hand how many failure to feeds or extracts I had, malfunctions. Always during training, never on duty. So let's see. That's just about it in the terms of the exteriors here. I will give you some information that I got from Shadow System. Some people think you can just go ahead and take this barrel out and put it in your CR920P, and you can. Shadow says you can. Shadow System says you can. However, this has a beefed up lug system on the end of this one, which apparently they didn't do with the P model. You can switch them out, but they said you switch out the barrel and the comp. You don't switch them around. Barrel and comp comes out, and they are interchangeable. So we covered that part, and that's verified through an email with Shadow Systems. Okay. Let's see. That's just about all I know about this pistol. It does have the traditional Glock cut here to put a Streamlight TLR7 sub, and I believe it will take the TLR8 sub. Because this one's a little bit more sexy. It has a full length cover down here, dust cover, versus the other one. There, I already gave away kind of one of my secrets as of what maybe a future review. And because of that, you may have problems finding holsters, but they are starting to produce these. I just got one from a company, and I'm going to do a review on that. I think it's a pretty nice holster. Pretty expensive for Kydex, but if you want a holster now, other than like a strong side leather, you're going to need to get something in Kydex, like for appendix, and you're going to have to pay the price on the people who are willing to take the gun with the pew and make a mold and then make holsters for it. So I timed mine just right. My holster got here the same day that I was able to pick up my pistol. It was like a double Christmas for me. So that's it. That's all I got for this pistol, other than telling you my experience at the range. Now, anyone who has looked at this gun on YouTube, everybody has a problem with this gun out of the box. I haven't found one reviewer who took a magazine, put it in, and shot flawlessly. For my first 2 magazines, I had a failure to extract at least every other round. And the problem with that is we all know to clear it, you turn it to the side and you cock it back and the casing falls out. My problem was the worst problem that there is, especially if you're in a gunfight. My casing was only about 3/4 of the way out the barrel. The new round was trying to come in, and it jammed this thing up bad. Jammed it up bad, and that is bad in a firefight because you might as well just throw this at them. Because it's going to take you a few minutes. I had to do rip work. I had to yank that mag out, and wow, it was tough, especially with the spring in that mag. And then after that, the casing fell out through the pistol grip, and I was able to reinsert and charge it with no problem. Some of the times, I had to do a little bit extra shaking to get that thing out of there. I don't know what was going on, but for the first 2 mags, I was really hating life. It started to clear up a little bit after about 100 rounds or so. It started getting dark, so I started popping some off just to get some through it because I really want to carry this pistol, but I'm not satisfied with it yet. I'm definitely not going to trust my life to it yet. But I will do a future update on this after I get at least 200 rounds through that. Shadow System says 200 round break-in for all their pistols. And I think what they do, my opinion is that they put this so tight, and they want you to fire this thing to let it mate itself. It's really, really tight. It's not shaking. Glocks that I've had in the past, you could shake and get a little bit of a jiggle. These, I think they let them mate them in by firing them. So it wouldn't be bad, like every other magazine, to put a couple drop of oil on the wear spots as it's breaking in. So I got just about 125, 130 rounds to it. I got through 2 magazines with pretty much no failure. However, the other issue I was having is the slide wasn't locking back on the last round. So there's one person who had the same problem. He thought it was his grip. He had his wife try it out, and the same thing was happening with her. So it might be my grip. I don't really want to have to retrain myself. And the problem with this is these are proprietary. You can't just put a bigger or a higher slide catch on here because they're proprietary. They do have a little wall around it to try to protect it, but I'm still engaging that somehow. I don't know. I don't really want to redo my grip. So one idea one YouTuber had was to bobtail this off a little bit. I don't like to do that because then you have to get it refinished, but maybe that's what might need to be done if I'm engaging that, because it does come to a little tiny point. I'm trying to cut this thing. I'm sorry I'm going fast, but we're at 20 minutes now, and I don't even know if I can get 20 minutes on YouTube. So that's what I'm going to do here. I am going to update and give you a little bit more information about this one on my next pistol review, which is going to be a Shadow Systems. I'm going to get them out of the way, and then I'm going to start on some of my others. So I am so glad that hopefully you stuck around to see the end of this. I'm glad that you're here to share my journey and be with me, and hopefully you will share and like my video, and hope that you tune back in for more no fluff and no buff, just straight fact, at least the way I see it. So thank you so much. God bless, and I will see you on my next review.